Hey, what's up guys? How are you? Let's get started with today's recap of Pretty Little Liars. Last night's episode, First Meet. If you did not see that episode, recommend go watching it before you watch this video, and I'll give you my thoughts and theories on who I think A is at the end of this video. So let's get started. So Toby was told to go where Allison was in jail at to deliver some documents for Officer Tanner, and he does. Walks in, hands the lady the file, and he's his sister. She's like, that will be all. Okay. And then as he's about to walk out, he runs into Allison, and Allison says, "Do you know how it feels to be locked up in a cage for something you didn't do?" He said, "Yes. And you're the one to put me in there?" So it's like payback to see how it feels to be locked up for something you didn't do. And then Spencer, Hannah, Emily, Toby, and Aria talks amongst herself about Allison thinks she has help outside of jail. I don't think she does at this point. If she did, it will be Cece. Anyway, so Aria, Emily, and Ezra. Ezra's on the phone trying to make a arrangement for catering and such, and then Aria just why not go with the original plan, which he goes back to the original plan where everything was planned out the way it's supposed to be. And then Emily speaks up and said, "I will do it." I'm like, yeah. So she goes in the kitchen. She tries to do all these little things that she said she was doing, and it doesn't turn out the way she wants it to be. She's frustrated and makes a big mess and has stuff on the wall. Ezra says, "Do you want me to call a professional to do this?" And she's like, "No, I got this." "Are we going to eat that off the wall?" "No. Just practice." So she goes home. And then Miss Ashley and Jason. So Jason starts working for her. And then Allison calls to speak to her brother, and he doesn't want to speak to her. Then he says, she tells Allison, call it another time. Tells her that, and she's like, really need to speak to him. Said, "I'm sorry, but call at a different time, another time." So she hangs up, and Ashley says, "Don't let me do this again." And he says, "It's easier not to answer it." So anyway, Toby and the rest of the police officer are searching Mona's house in the backyard. He comes upon a knife and freaks out and doesn't, like, wow, didn't say anything. Said it was clear, and he was telling Spencer, and then Spencer, Caleb, and Toby all meet up at her house, and they discuss about this knife, and don't tell anyone about it. So, like, we need to get rid of it. Says, like, "Oh, we need to turn it in," and Spencer's like, "No, we need to get rid of this knife and make it like it doesn't exist, so get it out of the way." So A will not try to pinpoint it on her or Aria or Toby or anyone with that knife. And then Caleb and Spencer go do that. They're at school, and this room, heated room where you melt things, and apparently she hears something. She goes out. Caleb gets locked in there, almost nearly burned to death. And she goes back and locks it, and everything's nice to her. He said yes. So I'm guessing it melted. Hopefully it did. Fingers crossed. If it didn't, then A's got it. Hannah is in a college campus talking about this girl on the phone with Caleb, and she goes into this place to go get a map, I think. And he's sitting there talking to her and stuff, and like, yeah, it's alright. And then she up and disappears, and the girl comes out like, "Where'd she go?" And Hannah's looking for Officer Hardbrook. Don't know why. So Aria and Emily talking, discussing about the paper that she should send to the college that she wants to get in, and just to be a little more detailed about it, and what she does. And then she said she sent it to Jackie, and then she's like, "Okay, let me read the paper once she's done with it." So she did, and she read it, and she's like, "Why did you send it to her? Did you send this to her?" And she said, "Yes, I did." Does she realize that A knows everything? So you really did that. Not very impressive, Arya. Impressive at all. So Hannah's looking for Officer Hardbrook. Goes into the trailer park. Finds, but actually his dad. She thought he was taking care of his dad, which he wasn't. No telling where he's at. And said, you should know, because you used to date him. Mistaking her for Allison. So I guess Allison dated him. Weird connection. So Hannah and Allison discussed it, and she said about A thing, saying that if you're A, I don't feel one bit sorry for you. She doesn't care what happens to Allison at all. And then Spencer and Toby answer it. Pretty sad. Why are they gonna make them so sad? Like, really? And then Spencer and Emily and Ezra. He hires a catering person. Emily's not too happy about that. She tells her to try it. She says no. But her to eat around it. And she's like, ugh, self that up with everything. And then this guy she runs into, they was told to rent out in it. And she's like, such and such about his grandma that his mom helped shut down. I don't know what that was related to. I was thinking Bradley. Then again, I doubt it if that's even shut down or not. No telling what home he was talking about. And she said, no, there's their dead body that was buried there. So he's like, okay. I don't think he wants to live there. And if he does, that's very odd. And then Allison gets, at the end, gets a note that said your friends will see you soon. So I'm thinking Ace planning on getting all of them back there. Arya for Shauna. Hannah probably for Officer Wilden. I don't know about for Spencer and Emily. Don't know what A would put them on. Or just those two with Allie. Because she said I would warn them. So maybe I should stick, probably, I feel kind of bad for Allison, but yeah. So here's my thoughts and theories on who I think A is. I'm thinking that they were friends with this person once, at one point in their time, he or she, and got so mistreated, so terribly bad that the girls never said anything, just went along with it with Allison because she was Queen Bee and they do everything that she does right behind her. So they laugh, they think it's all funny and everything. They don't feel one bit bad about what they did. So it could be a cousin or a niece or a brother or a sister related relationship to the person that lived in Rosewood at one point, got back to that person and like, hey, I'm gonna get back at them for what they did to you. So this big A thing started. But as far as from the twin theory from Bethany and Jason, I don't quite know about that because we hadn't heard any more details about that yet. So hopefully maybe in season 6 we hear more, or a little bit more, finishing out season 5. So yeah. And there's another announcement. If you didn't hear, finally all the DVDs of season 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6 of The Nanny will be out on DVD. The last 3, 4, 5, and 6 on DVD April 21st, 2015. I'm super excited. I got the first 3 seasons. Now I get the last 3